In this video, I'm going to be talking kind of quick because I have orders to fill. I wanted to share with you just one more Easter project because it's easy, cheap, and sure to blow the minds of your customers. It also only cost me $2 to build. Before I get too far into this video, it is going to require a router. Now hold on. You can simply use a palm router, either battery powered or one of the cheapy ones from Harbor Freight. Start slow and take smaller bites of material off at a time. I'll also have a couple other helpful tips throughout this video. You got this. The 2x6 scrap I have in front of me is 47 inches long. At the miter saw, I cut it perfectly in half. And I mean perfectly. Then I removed the rounded edges from one side of the 2x6 boards, about 1/8 of an inch. And now it's time to glue them together. I heard that the only tight bond glue that is food grade safe is Tight Bond 3. I don't know if it's true or not, just something that I'd read. I'm not using dowels or biscuits, just using good old glue and pressure. I clamped from the top and bottom of my board because with this cheaper style of clamp, the center begins to give a nice gentle bow as you tighten down the pressure. And what that's doing is actually putting pressure on the outside of my board that is unparalleled. It's no longer 90 degrees. It actually begins to put an angle on it, and I don't want to put any resistance or pressures to allow additional cupping that might occur with this board. So to equalize that pressure, I clamped from the top and the bottom, so that way it kind of equaled out, and hopefully my board doesn't look like a bowl when I'm done. As I wait for this to dry, I need to make a modification to my router. Palm routers in general have a smaller base on the bottom, and this can become a problem if you're trying to router out a larger space because you can't get into the middle without your router going all goosey. Now I've made a larger plexiglass base for my palm router so that it has that coverage area and it can move freely around, keep everything perfectly upright and safe. And you can achieve this exact same setup with just a scrap piece of wood. I found the center of my scrap board, 13.5 inches, and marked the screw holes and center cutout on the board. Drill a hole about the same size as what was originally in the base. This gives your router bit plenty of room to spit out those chunks and shavings. Using a 3/8 Forstner bit, I drilled down about 1/2 of an inch since this material is a lot thicker than the original plexiglass. Switch to a thinner 1/8 inch bit and finish off the holes. Now instead of this smaller base, we can attach this larger piece of wood right to our router. Would have been really cool if that was the part that spun around, not just the bit. Anyway, and now you have this gigantic base, and you can freely move around whatever you're cutting out. And this isn't our project, but you get it. You can also get real bougie and add handles onto the outside if you wish. I think I will. I just took an 1.5 inch piece of dowel, cut it to 4 inches long, piloted a small little spot, 6 inches away from my router bit. I just screw them into place. Uh-oh. Drilled the holes too big. I gotta get bigger screws. When I was at the local Family Dollar, I'd found this. Now, no matter what store it is, I keep an eye out for two things, and that is peanut butter Snicker bars and things that I can use as templates here in the wood shop. It's made from a thicker piece of MDF. I'm going to get rid of all these little glued on extras. And with this, we can make our end product, which is that. Hello. Hello. It's a nice little tray you have there. Thanks, it's from the future. Yeah. Hey, just stay away from buses and tunnels in 20... This is exactly why we don't do this. Get out of here. Get out of here. What's the winning lottery numbers? 7. He has no idea. I can trace this shape onto my board. I don't need to worry about these little centers. All I really need is the generic outside of the board. We'll go over that in just a moment. Voila. Cut close to the outside line, not directly on it. You can remove this extra material using a bandsaw or your jigsaw. Due to the jigsaw's blade not being fixed vertically, I leave a little extra room in case it happens to wobble towards my project. To attach our template to the board, I'm using just some Sure tape, usually has a blue wrapper. It's got these sticky fibers that run across it. It's just as strong as 3M tape. It's a lot cheaper because look at the gigantic roll that you get. So I put some tape on the back of it. Doesn't have to cover the whole thing, just enough to keep it down because I also have the pressure of the router. Flip them over and get them in line with that pencil doodle we did earlier. Also make sure there's no sawdust or anything on your actual workpiece. Otherwise the tape will not stick. Now, why did we actually cut out the shape first? And that's just because it takes a lot less wear and tear and stress on the router than if I had routed the entire groove out of the board. So it seems kind of silly when I could cut away a lot of that material, not have to worry about it with the router. Speaking of routers, I have a flush cut bit installed. It's a little shorty, just because I need this bearing to ride against the inside lip of our template. And flush cut bits come in a variety of sizes, shapes. They have, different lengths. They have bearings on the top, bearings on the bottom. You can get them in a 1/2 inch collet, 1/4 inch collet, and it just depends on how you're installing and using them. And it has this bearing on it because that's what rides against our workpiece. On these guys, especially with a 1/4 inch collet, make sure you're not putting in just a tiny little bite of that bit. You're pushing that all the way down so that it has plenty of bite. I see these all the time that are completely bent, and that would be terrifying. You're running a router and then it bends because now it's throwing that bit all over the place. Not a mistake. I did that as a demonstration. You're going to want to also secure this piece to your foam and your foam to the workbench, because then things aren't slippering and sliding all over the place. I remove about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch material at a time, keeping my router upright and at 90 degrees from our material. I like to place a piece of insulation foam between the workpiece and my workbench, just as I did with the jigsaw. After installing my larger bit, I noticed it's going to take way too much material off. I don't want to do this in one bite. It's bad on the router. It's going to try to skip ahead. This is very far away from the collet, so it's not exactly safe. And I don't want it to skip and chip and attack this part of my project. This, if I put them down, it's going to be sticking out of the collet so much. Same situation. This is very far away from your collet. These 1/4 inch bits, you are more likely for them to bend or break. Just want to avoid all of those issues. Now, I didn't buy this template from the template stores. I didn't get it from like Crafted Elements or Bear Hollow Supply. Their templates come in a nice thick piece of plexiglass. This guy obviously is not. And what I risk with this is it's fragile. It's MDF. It's not made to be a template, but that's what we're using it for. So when you're taking it off, just put, spatula, something underneath there, get her ripped off, and kind of knowing where your tape spots are. This one gave me a little fuss, so I kind of had to scrape them off until I could get underneath them. But just get your template off. If you have something that you really like, just pick up some plexiglass and you can make this template into plexiglass. Otherwise, when you buy them online, look for the acrylic plexiglass ones. Look how adorable this is. Look, oh my God. So that's all I got. The MDF ones are generally cheaper. If it's a one-time use, go for it. If you want to use it time and time again, go with an acrylic. Well, gee golly, we're about dang near done. I did add a round over bit into the router, and I took a little scrap piece and, tested it out, made sure I liked it, and I do. So I'm going to run it around the insides while it's still anchored down to this board. I'm going to take it, flip it over, and do the backside. And there we go, folks. That round over bit really dresses things up. Just got a little bit of sanding to do. I want to touch the insides of these rounds. I want to get inside the trays done. Sanding, 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 sanding. For those who are curious, because I don't wear a mask all the time, it's an RZ mask. I like it. Not enough to wear it 24/7. I do when I router just because it chokes up a bunch in the air. I actually forgot to put it on. You'll see that in the video. I'm going to be using a simple Minwax natural stain. I'm sure the candy coating on the M&Ms is 100% worse than anything that's going to come off of this once it's dried. I'm not claiming it's food safe. Don't slop a bunch of potato salad in here, okay? Minwax Natural, it's a decorative item. You're going to put this on the coffee table maybe. You're not going to use it in the kitchen. If you are, get a butcher block sealant, get some sort of a mineral oil, it's food grade. Tons of products exist. I'm not. And lastly, because I didn't say it, and I'm glad you guys stuck around for this part, which direction do you run your router? You'll see I'm going different directions and making figure eights and all kinds of crazy stuff. If you have your board and you make an L with your right hand and you put it on the board, put your thumb in the board, you're going to go this direction for interior cuts. You're going to go this direction for exterior. And it doesn't matter where you put your hand, okay? Thumb, go that direction. Done. I just got crap in my eye. And the part of the project I like the most, sealing it. Give it that pop of color, you know what I mean? Although there are not specific plans for this build because it's a template that I'd found at Family Dollar, it is a good example of things that you could do with ordinary items that you find in the store. The first video that I did on these was just a picture frame that was built out of these little puzzle pieces. Same premise, you can run your router around the outside and make puzzle pieces that lock together. That video link is in the description as well. If you don't want to go and find these, I know these were difficult to find, I picked this up at Woodcraft. Same premise, you run your router around it, and now you have interlocking tiny little charcuterie boards, I guess. Not exactly sure, I just thought it was cool. And the templates are endless, endless possibilities. This is just a handle that you can put on the end and router out. Now you have a handle on your workpiece. They make these, I'm gonna call them, I don't know. But you take this piece, you router out your board, you match it to another side. Now these are different size ones, but they fit together perfectly. And you'd use this on both sides, this one on both sides. But then when you're done, you put your two boards together, you have this cool zipper design. Same with this one. They make animals. They make actual tray ones that you can buy to make your own trays. The possibilities are endless on these router templates. Again, two places that I usually stop by first, not sponsored for this video. They just have fast shipping, nice templates. Go check them out if you want to start playing with these, and pick yourself up a router if you don't have one yet. See you guys.